going to improvise a patch pocket. So what I'm going to do is just curve this because they're usually curved. So here we are, my little fake, oh, that's huge. My little fake patch pocket. I think I need to make it smaller. It's a little big.
But you don't want that big of a pocket.
That's huge.
Where's it gonna go?
I know, so let me trim it down some. And that's the word improvise gets you in trouble. Okay, that's a little more normal and realistic. All right? So the first thing we do to the patch pocket, in the pattern, you're going to have a line drawn across here, okay? You're going to fold on that line, right sides together, and you're going to sew it at 5/8 of an inch, just across the top of that. Yes, it's very similar to the pocket for the blouse.
I did the patches.
So there it is flat. Take this one. Okay, now, in a blouse or a shirt or a jacket, first I need to tighten it up, you would have finished the edge of that, okay? You don't want to have it in there raw. Clip the corner. Now, the one we did in fundamentals was pointy.
Yeah.
This one's round. That's the difference. One of the things you can do to make it easier is stay stitch this. If I stay stitch that around the bottom, it makes it easier to turn it as a corner. Okay? Let me show you what that means. If this curve is good like this curve, I can go straight to here. Oh, I need the clapper, please. I turn this to the wrong side. Yes, that's fine. Well, first I would take this and press it. And then I take my point turner. Oh, what happened?
The steam made it off.
Oh, oh my God, who knew? Take my point turner. And now I've pressed it so I can get this flat. Now I have to press this around this corner. So I'm going to come down to here. And do you see I'm pushing it against the stitching? The stitch, see how the stitching just makes it bend right in the right spot? So now it's a little pointy. I got a point or two there I don't like. So now I can push it out against the stitching. There, now it's rounder, or more round. There. So now it's made and it's somewhat round. On a thicker fabric it gets smoother, okay? That's not perfect, but, and that's definitely not straight on the bottom, so let's straighten that out. Now, I can either decide to notch that out or not. If you see, it is making it lumpy and bumpy in there. So I could choose to take some of this fullness and get rid of it. Okay, and that's going to make it smoother. Just don't get happy. Okay? Now I'm going to cut a piece to sew it to. All right, the first thing I want to do is hem the top. So again, this would have been serged on the bottom. But what I want to do is put my needle down and see how I've got that much space there. I want to maintain that so that it's straight. So I'm not looking where the needle is, I'm looking here. Okay? So now the test is when I fold them together, is it landing in the same spot? It is. I watched over here. I did not watch what the needle does its job. I don't have to make it, okay? The next thing I need to do is take this, place it on here, and pin it down. So again, you want to pin perpendicular to the line you're going to sew. Okay, so now I go in here and I'm going to sew as close to the edge as I can get. Get the foot pedal out. So now I go slow because if you see I'm sewing in this green thread, it's almost like top stitching. And I think I just fell off. Yep, I fell off right there. So I need to go back and patch that up. So I would lower the needle. You need to put it exactly in or you're going to have 2 rows of stitching right there. Not on both ends. And now, since I've cleaned that up, I could pick that little bit out. And especially since it's knotted on both ends. So there's your patch pocket, okay? Now, there are many variations. You could hem this by hand if you don't want a big seam going, if you don't want this big stitching going across, hem it by hand. You could double top stitch it on. I'll do that on half and let you see what that looks like. This is more like what it would look like if it was jeans. Do you know what I'm looking at? I'm not looking at the needle. I'm looking at this row of stitching hitting that line on the machine. So there it is on half, what it would look like to double top stitch it. Okay? You can also, and I'll show you how to do this too, I'll show you how to do one with no stitching on the outside. That'll be a separate pocket that I'll do. Okay? All right.